Hi, Stamper fans. Welcome to another Make It Monday. I am Dan Gerlitz, independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Bloomington, Illinois, and I am here live on my Facebook page every Monday night at 7 p.m. Central. Thank you so much for joining me. We've got a fun, easy layout for you tonight. One of my favorite kind of things. It uses lots of scraps that you might have laying around that you're kind of like, I don't want to get rid of these, but what in the world would I use them for? Got just the thing for you tonight. So let's see here. Let me show you. So this is the card I am making for you tonight, but at the end of the video, I'll have 3 alternatives for you showing some different papers, some different options, so you can kind of get a feel for how different you can make this card look. And it's a really good go-to for all of your scraps. So if you are joining me live, go ahead and drop a comment into the comment section and say hi. If you're watching the replay, thank you so much for coming by. I hope you pick up some tips and tricks, and feel free to say hi in the comments as well. And if you have any questions, go ahead and pop them in. Whether I am live or not, I will get back to you for sure. And you can always message me as well on Facebook. So, all right, let's go ahead and flip our view down. There we go. Okay, so as always, I have linked the full supply list with cardstock measurements into the video description, so you don't have to worry about writing everything down or, pausing or anything to make sure you caught everything. You can go back and click that later and get all the information you need. From that supply list, you can easily order anything that you'd like as well that I've shown here tonight. So that is all good there. But let me tell you what we are using. So I pulled out our Paradise Palms stamp set for this fun greeting. This is one of my favorite greetings, actually. The hope you find a little paradise wherever you may be. Absolutely perfect for so many different occasions, whether it's a birthday or a retirement or, just a missing you, whatever. So lots of different options there. We are using only one ink pad tonight, and that is our Night of Navy ink pad. And as for cardstock and papers, we are starting with a base of Pool Party, one of my faves. And this is 8.5 by 5.5 inches, scored at 4 1/4, which is the standard, I believe, A2 size. I'm not sure. It's the US standard greeting card. So that one's there. We are using a piece of basic white that is 5 1/4 by 4 inches for the inside. We've got another piece of basic white that is 4 3/4 by 3 1/4 inches for the front. We've got another scrap of basic white. It just needs to be about 2 inches square, at least, for the circle that I'm cutting. So you can adjust that for whatever greeting you're using. And then we've got 6 different designs. Where's the 6th one? There it is. For our By the Bay papers. Really fun. And I'm going to show you this entire suite in just a second. But these are each 1 1/4 inch square. So for the sizes that I'm using, that's what that's what I got down to. And I'll show you the kind of the science, if you want to call it that, behind how I got to that measurement. We'll also be using our mini cut and emboss machine because we'll be cutting our greeting out with our layering circles. We've got some dimensionals happening, as usual. And then, oh, gee, here's a new thing that I don't even know if you guys know about because I haven't used it like the past 5 weeks or anything. Our pastel adhesive back sequins. I'm telling you, I won these free at our convention last fall, and I thought, oh, those are nice. I don't really use a lot of sequins. I don't use a lot of pinks. Oh my gosh, you guys, I've used this obviously on so many things because I keep showing them to you. So obviously you need them too. And then I've also got Pool Party Grosgrain ribbon here, which is a new ribbon we've got. So that coordinate perfectly with our card base. Absolutely love that. Okay, so I promised to show you the suite of products. So this is in our mini catalog, which goes through the end of April. And this is the By the Bay Sweet Collection. So I don't know, it's been in recent years that Stampin' Up! Has started putting together these sweet collections of products, which is great because then you know that everything just goes together. It's one of my favorite, it's my absolute favorite thing about Stampin' Up! It takes so much guesswork out of all of your creating. You know the colors are going to coordinate. You know products are going to coordinate. Styles of stamps are going to coordinate. Your dies are going to coordinate with the stamp images. All of that stuff just goes. It's fabulous. So I have not purchased the entire suite of products. I did purchase this paper, though, which is gorgeous. And I did show this to you, I think, a few weeks ago on the owl card. So if you want to flip back through that. But this is a specialty designer paper. It's only a 6x6 inch square size. It's not the full big size. But each one of these, one side has a shininess of some sort. It might be a gold foil. It might be a shimmer, all sorts of things. So that's what makes it a specialty paper. You've got some extra shine and shimmer and woohoo, and you didn't have to do a thing. You just have to cut it. It's awesome. But we also have a nice Seaside Bay bundle. We've got a balmy blue and white variegated ribbon that goes with this suite. And then we have these fun flat adhesive backed pearls. So they actually have these cool pearls that you can like put in the oyster shells. Pretty cute idea. So the cool thing is, if you love this paper and you're like meh about the rest of the suite, no problem. I'm going to show you awesome ways to use this paper all this week without using any of the other products in the suite. But the cool thing is, if you love the whole suite of products, you can get it with just one item number. You can get everything included, and then you can take the ideas I'm going to show you this week and use it with other stuff as well. So there you go. All right. So let us get started. Today, let's see, we always, I usually get the inside of my card out of the way first, don't I? So we're going to do that. Piece of scrap paper over here. I forgot my Stampin' Block, you guys. Be right back. I thought I was so prepared tonight, but nope, I always forget at least one thing, don't I? Thank goodness I do this in my studio, so everything's right here. So for the inside, I could cut up a piece of a strip of the paper and use that for the inside. This one I decided to go with our cool palm trees. So we're just going to ink that up with our Night of Navy. Now I don't want this to be full strength Night of Navy on the inside. So I'm just going to stamp it off on a piece of scrap paper over here. And then we'll pop it down and it'll be a little more subtle. All right, we'll grab our Stampin' Seal. Just a little bit in each corner is all you need. And we'll pop that on the inside of our card. Now, I don't know about all of you. See, I did it. Wow, that was pretty crooked. I was just about to say, don't worry if it's crooked, but that was kind of a lot crooked. So we'll just pop that right back off. The Stampin' Seal is pretty good because if you catch it right away, you can kind of reposition things as long as you haven't really tacked it down well. That's better. But even so, this side has a little bit more showing than this side. Blah, blah, blah. This is a handmade card, is what I was going to tell you people, is don't get all caught up in everything's not perfect. I am going to show you a trick for lining up the squares for the front of the card. But again, I'm a human being, so I'm sure it's not going to be absolutely perfect. I'm not a robot. That's why I check the box on the internet all the time, right? Not a robot. All righty. Let's go ahead and stamp our greeting as well, since we've got the ink block out and everything. I don't know if you noticed again that all the stamps on the inside we've placed almost identical. These two are backwards. So I know which greeting to grab and I know all that kind of stuff because I just put them in the same way they are on the front. It's just a quick little time saver tip. Okay, normally I make sure my greetings are all lined up. I'm going to die cut this so it doesn't matter if I stamp it straight because I can fix all that in post, as they say in the biz, right? So let me see. Let's get our little scrap of basic white. The only thing I want to make sure I do is stamp this kind of in the middle of the paper because I do want to line that circle up and I want to make sure I have enough room around the whole thing to get that circle lined up right. Go ahead and clean that with my trusty Stampin' Chamois, my Simply Chamois. Love that thing. I love that I can just, rinse that with water and it's good to go. Perfect. All right. Get stuff out of our way. All right, I believe it is this one. Yep. I'm getting better. I know which one I'm trying to grab now. So we're using our mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss today, and this is something that you can get free as part of the starter kit until the end of the month. So until February 28th, 2023, in case you're not watching this live, you can get our starter kit for $129. You get to pick out $175 worth of whatever you want out of the catalogs, out of anything that's current. Plus, you get the mini Stampin' Cut and Emboss. And you don't pay shipping either, just tax. So that's a pretty good deal. And there's no obligation to ever do anything more. So if you literally just want to come on for the discount, we're good to have you. If you want a little side business, I can help you with that too. And if you've never die cut before and you're interested in it, I'm telling you, this is the way to start. You get a heck of a good deal on the mini cut and emboss machine. And you're basically getting it for like half price. And you also are getting a huge discount on the rest of the kit. And I'm here to help you figure out how to use it. So all good things, win-wins. Okay, let's get some of this stuff out of my way. Okay, so somebody asked me, because I did post this card on a demonstrator group today and got a lot of good feedback, but somebody asked me how big my squares were. So I told them, and then also how I lined them up so well. So I'm going to show you how I did that, because I knew I wanted kind of more space around this layer than I normally do for a card. I wanted this to kind of just be that focal point with a lot of border around it. So I went to my trusty grid paper and I actually drew out what I was going to do. But first, what I did was I took my little squares. I actually used Post-it notes to start with and cut them up so that I could, cut them up however I wanted. And I just started popping them onto the grid squares and measured, okay, so I want this, a 1/4 inch away from the edge, and I wanted a 1/4 inch between them. And on our grid paper, each of these little grid lines is a 1/4 inch away from each other. So I knew I could do that. So I just started stacking them up 1/4 inch between. So then I could measure a 1/4 inch all the way around it. And that's how I came up with the 4 3/4 by 3 1/4 piece of white that they're going to go on. Now, how do I line them up right? So I'm going to put my white right along grid lines. And then we're going to take our handy dandy liquid glue, because it gives us a little squish time, right? A little movement. And I'm going to do the 4 corners first. So we're going to take our first one. You can probably see that cool shimmer on there. Oh, love that. So I'm going to make sure it's about 1/4 inch down, 1/4 inch over, and I'm just eyeballing it by those grid lines. And I'll take the next corner, And again, this one's got some cool shimmer to it too. Just subtle. They've got kind of this watercolory look. They're really cool. You can also use the Stamparatus for this because then you can hold this down with a magnet so it doesn't move, and then you can use the grid lines on that too. So whatever's easiest for you. And I'm going to take that lower left corner, and this side has the shimmer on the other side. Oops. There we go. But I wanted all the blues and greens, so I picked out some different blues and greens. So once again, I'm just going to make sure it's about a 1/4 inch in, about a 1/4 inch up. And I'm just kind of mentally following those grid lines again. We've got another guy so this one has some shimmer on the other side, but again, I wanted that blue and green. Following those grid lines again, and I'm also basing it off of that other one that's right next to it, because that's obviously my grid paper is not going to be there when my card's done, but the one next to it is, so you want to make sure you've got it there too. And then I can do my 2 middle ones. So and for this, because it's a little harder to follow that grid line down here, I'm just lining up those sides with this, but then I'm making sure there's about a 1/4 inch, following the side grid lines on there. We've got a cool little shimmery stripe on this guy. So by doing the corners first as well, if you need to leave a little bit more room, like on the inside ones, you can tell about how far to be halfway you need to be, if that makes sense. Hopefully that makes sense. Give me a thumbs up. Okay, so that's literally it. That's the focal point of our card. How simple was that? Now let's put on some ribbon. And the ribbon is super simple. So you can do this a couple of different ways. And I think I'm going to do a quote unquote little cheater way to show you, because I actually wrapped this one around and tied it. But I will show you the easier way to do it, because we're all about easy, right? So just measure your ribbon so you've got some overhang on each side. And I'm going to put that on. We're going to wrap it around to the back. And then I'm just going to put some Stampin' Seal down. Now that moved a little bit on me, so I want to make sure I have it straight still. Okay. Trim off this excess in the middle so it's not all bunchy. Okay, we're going to attach this to the card first, and then I will finish the little knot that we're going to use. So this is going to go on with dimensionals, so you can see that it's kind of bumped up from the card, which gives it dimension. Huh. So aptly named. So pop one in each corner. Trying to follow the Stamper Man's little pattern here, because he was the first one at this sheet of dimensionals. So, and I'm going to put a couple on the ribbon. That'll help hold it down as well. And what the heck, one right there. That'll keep it from sagging in the middle as well. You want to put some in the middle when it's this big of a piece, so it doesn't sag. Grab our card, make sure it's opening the correct way so you don't put this on upside down. And just a basic centering, no big deal. Okay, now we're going to take our ribbon again. We just need a small piece. And we didn't put any adhesive on the front because we're just going to slip that under and then just tie it a knot, just a single knot. It's what we in the biz like to call a cheater bow. It's not even really a bow, but So it's obviously going the other way from this one. That's fine too. We are going to put our greeting on. Now this needs one dimensional because it's going to be hanging off. So we're going to want a dimensional right about there. So we'll just do that. And then I'm going to want to put some adhesive on the other side to hold it down against the rest of the card. I think we'll go over that ribbon. Nice. So now we can find our scissors and just do a little angle cut on these ribbons, just pretty them up. And then we just need one sequin because I tried to do 3, but it looked too busy. This was one of those cards where I was sitting there like, I feel like I want to do more, but I don't know where to put anything. And if you're not sure where to put something, that means you're done. Just stop. It's okay if it's simple. So we're going to use one of the large sequins and just pop it there by the greeting, and we're done. That is a super, super simple card, you guys, but impressive. It's got some clean lines. You're using up a ton of scraps. So if you've got 6x6 paper and you're primarily a card maker, well, sometimes you feel like maybe you've wasted some because you use like 4 inches on a card and now you've got 2 inches left. And so this could easily be adapted, obviously, to some different size squares or whatever. But yeah, those little strips are perfect for this kind of project. Dropped one of my dots. All right, now I did promise you we've got some alternatives, so don't go anywhere. So we've got that card, and now I've pulled in another one of our designer papers that I featured a couple of weeks ago, the Favored Flowers, which is a freebie from Celebration. And so I've done the exact same layout, except for I've changed up the greeting. We just used our tailored tags for the greeting there, a little bit of ribbon, but the same size squares. I used the floral side, and then I flipped over for 3 of the other designs there, give it some variation. And then I went to our Dandy Designs paper, which is also a freebie during Celebration with a qualifying order. And I changed it up and went to circles. So here we've got circles in our purples and greens and blues. I used some of our fun twine that's in the mini catalog. And so just went for a very geometric patterns on this. And then I used the same paper, but I used the warmer tones from it and changed up the greeting again. So this one is just, using the scissors or trimmer, that same twine, just a different color. And this one is really fun, especially if you're just starting to accumulate supplies and you don't have a lot. Really, all you need is white cardstock, because this could be on white as well, and then a pack of designer paper. And boom, you could make the squares if you didn't have the dies yet. And this could be cut by hand, some kind of ribbon or trim, and boom, you're done. I mean, it is so super simple to make all of these. And like I said, I used still used the layering circles for these circles here, and just kind of measured it out about the same as the others so that the inside white would work the same. This one you can tell I went vanilla because it seemed to lend itself more to the vanilla instead of the white. So that's a personal choice, which one you like better as a neutral. So there you have it. A very easy layout that you can make a lot of variety of different cards. You could make cards for kids, cards for adults, sympathy, birthday, any occasion really it would work for this layout. And you're using up all those scraps that you kind of don't want to part with, but you're really not sure what to do with. So, all righty, let's flip it up here so I can talk to y'all. I hope you learned some new tips, techniques, maybe some things on lining up those squares. I hope that helped a little bit as well. And I always, always, always want you to give some of the things that I teach you a try, because I want to be your creative personal trainer Because your creativity is just a muscle, just like everything else. And the more you use it, the stronger it gets. So if you learned something new here tonight, or you just know some other people would get some great use out of the tips I've given you, go ahead and share the video so your friends and family can take advantage of all the knowledge as well. All right, that is it for me tonight. I will see you again next Monday at 7 p.m. Central. Until then, I'm still Nan Berlitz. Happy stamping.